Morning guys, welcome to the next tutorial, that is Jmeter's BeanShell scripting. So as of now we have seen just creating scripts from Jmeter UI directly. So Jmeter also does involve some scripting language if you want to make scripts of your own choice and maybe defining variables through your scripts. So we'll be learning BeanShell scripting basics and then the commonly used methods that we can employ in our Jmeter scripts and how we can set variables and use them in Jmeter scripts. So let's go back to the Jmeter's homepage. Let's close this session and start a new one. So let's start with the basic BeanShell sampler. So basically there are two things. For example, if I add a thread group and then right click add. First of all, I have a preprocessor that is BeanShell preprocessor, and then I also have a sampler that is BeanShell sampler. So let's start first with BeanShell sampler. So let's create a dummy script. For example, let's say I have a sampler HTTP request and let's say it's google.com and I don't have any path as of now, and let's add a listener that gonna display your results when I run the request. Let's use result tree. Okay, so let's add one BeanShell sampler now. So here you can see what all you can use. Let's go from right to left: log, props, vars, ctx is context variable, and file name label, response message, etc. Right? So let's start with the basic example. So first of all, what is BeanShell scripting? So BeanShell works on the principle of Java, but it is very lightweight. It doesn't have all the functions that you see in Java. So for example, let's say if you want to print something in log. So for printing, you need to use log.info. And whatever you put inside the braces will be displayed. For example, let's say I am printing, close and semicolon to close it. So let's run the request. So you see here, BeanShell test element, I am printing. So whatever you want to print in your logs, you can do it by using log.info, right? So for example, let's go by a scenario. For example, I have to put a path that I want to use from a variable. So let's see how we can do it. So for example, I have a variable a. So this is how you can declare any variable here. So now you have vars. So this is used for setting your variable, or if you want to retrieve a value out of the variable. So I want to set vars dot put, let's put, this is a because this is the variable in which I want to put some value. Put a comma and then let's say my path is Gmail and inverted commas, right? So if you want to see Gmail is copied to your variable a, you can say vars dot get a, right? Close the inverted commas a. So vars dot get a, you want to print it in log.info, right? Okay, let's do by this way. For example, say I have a variable that is b in which I want to store the value of whatever I am getting it from a, and now I want to print b, right? Let's see how it works now. So reiterating to the scripts, I have a variable a, and now I'm putting value Gmail in my variable a, and from this I'm retrieving the value of a and storing it in a variable b and then printing b. So let's see. So first of all, it got printed as Gmail. So Gmail was copied into a, and then the value of a was retrieved and saved in variable b, and then variable b was printed, right? So let's come to some real-time examples. For example, say I delete this too. So now I have a variable a and I'm putting Gmail in my variable a. So let's go back to this request. Okay, first of all, let's move it up here so that it is executed first, because I want to put the variable first and then execute with that variable. So let's say I am using this variable now. As we have already defined the syntax of variable, it is brace dollar, then braces a, and close the braces. So now I'm expecting this request to hit this server and this path, and I can see the same here. So let's execute it again and let's see where the request went. So BeanShell is executed and the next request went to the HTTP server. You click on the request one, you see that this is the server / your path. So this path has been picked up from this variable, which is a, and we have defined it. So this is just one of the simplest example you can use. So let's see now. So there are many methods that is associated with this context variable. You can search on Google what all methods you can use with it. For example, most common one is something like ctx, and you want to get the thread number. So ctx dot get thread num. So this would return your thread number, which is an integer. So let's say int d. I'm storing this thread number in d, and then log.info for printing the thread number. So I can write the string as my thread number is, or we could use a generic or maybe a more example so that you get to know which variable you're using it. So int thread num, and you can put a concatenate operator, then a space, and again concatenation, and your thread num, right? So now you can increase the number of threads, so you get to see it printed every time you make a request. So let's click on play. No. So you can see what is coming in the logs. So there is some error. What is saying is variable a put int thread num. Oh, maybe I forgot to enclose it in a bracket. Let's delete it and rerun. So what is the exception now? Error invoking method. So let's recheck what we have done here. Oh, so this inverted commas is something extra. So I'm expecting now thread num is then the thread num. So let's execute it and see the logs. So it is showing me this thread number is 3, thread number is 2. So in this way you can get the current thread which is running. So there are more examples that you can use in your BeanShell scripting, which we'll be discussing in the next session. So thanks for now.